The city is trying to narrow the gap in access to healthy, affordable nutrition. This means addressing problems of hunger and food insecurity. To tell us about the recently issued agenda is the director of the Mayor's Office of Food Access, Catalina Lopez-Ospina. Thank you very much for being with us, Catalina.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Catalina, first of all, I think just about everybody knows what hunger is, but what exactly is food insecurity?
Food insecurity is when the people don't have enough money to have a healthy life, to buy enough food to feed their families, and they don't know when the next meal is coming from, where they don't know if I lose my job, how I'm gonna feed my family. That's what food insecurity is.
Now, at a time when we have a pretty strong economy, I see these figures saying it's getting worse. Could that be?
Like, we see that the price of rent increasing, we see the price of health is keep increasing, or for daycare increase, but the salaries that are the same. And that's when we can see that food insecurity levels are going up, because the money that is available for food is being used for other bills.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I saw a figure for Boston at 18%. Could it really be that high? People experiencing?
18% in the city of Boston that are food insecure. They are not going today to their tables. There's not going to be food for feed their families. Yes, and 1 in 5 in the city of Boston, they don't know where the next meal is coming from.
Now, you've done some surveying on this. Anything you can say about which people are more likely to be affected by this?
Yeah, we know there are groups that are more affected than the other ones. Those include seniors, single households, female households that are very increased. There are people of color, immigrants, and low-income individuals that are at high rates of food insecurity.
I know you mentioned one of the barriers being the cost of living, but what about just getting someplace where you can buy the food? How difficult is that for some people?
We did some community listening sessions, and we know that accessibility is really difficult, and we know that seniors cannot go to other places they want to go and get the food they need and want. And we are trying to address that with the program that we have in the city of Boston called the Boston Double Up. We are trying to enroll corner stores that are available, that are in the neighborhoods, available for the people to go there. And we are increasing their buying power. I mean, if you are a SNAP user and you go to one of those stores, whatever you pay, we're up to $10, we pay half of that, because we want to solve the two main issues that are accessibility and affordability.
One other thing that you look at with food, and that is food that is culturally connected. A lot of us like food that's culturally connected, but why is it so important?
We live in a city that is very diverse, and we have the new people coming from other countries that are being growing, eating some type of food that is not very easy to access here. That's the reason that we did the Boston Double Lab program, is because corner stores in many of the neighborhoods, they carry those things that the community wants to carry. If you go to Marapan, you will find places that are carrying kalaloo. It's because the community is asking for that. And that's the reason we are trying to make sure that we have this program in those neighborhoods.
One impression I have, a lot of those traditional foods are more healthy than at least fast foods in this country.
Yeah, there are. I grew up in Colombia, and fast food, that was not an option because my mom cooked such a delicious meals, and that's what we're trying to do. We are trying to provide to those families to keep cooking together, cooking at home what they want to eat. There is many occasions more healthy than what you can find outside of the stores.
This is BNN News, and we're talking with Catalina Lopez-Ospina from the Mayor's Office of Food Access. Catalina, what about solving these problems? What does the agenda call for?
The agenda call from, the importance of this agenda is it's a common agenda. That is not just the city of Boston who is leading this. We got together with many stakeholders, and we are putting together our common goals. That is, make healthy food affordable and accessible for everyone. And there are 5 main things that the agenda is covered. That is food access should be a priority in our communities. We all should be knowing about what is food access or what is food insecurity. Other one is like strain the city networks and develop like sharing resources, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Other thing that we want to do that we talked earlier is like create awareness, like awareness about what is food insecurity and about the programs that are there. People who face food insecurity don't want to talk about that, but people who is not food insecure, they don't realize that the neighbors are having trouble getting food. And other thing that we are doing in the agenda is implementing strategies to make healthy food more affordable. And we have programs that we own that address that, but we know that in the city of Boston there are many other organizations who are already doing that, and we want to support them. We want to elevate their job. We want to make them more visible.
No, I imagine you need partners to make this work. I imagine some family, visiting the health center or going to a meeting at a school. Is that how you get them to talk about food and maybe help them solve the problem?
Yeah, like we are working, for the last 2 years, we have been working with Boston Public Schools and doing more like education among the students and among the parents about food and food insecurity and all the services that the city has, and in principle, like the schools, for increasing the healthy food access to the kids. And we talk about that a lot, and we are going to a lot of community meetings. We go into a lot of events, like trying to make sure that people know what it's doing or what is food access, and know how we can support them to get the food they need.
In your report, you mentioned there are some potential sources of help that are being underused, and recently we've had all this talk from Washington about trying to discourage many immigrants from using government programs. What are you going to do about that?
Yeah, it's very sad that this administration is really like putting out information that is misleading, and that is like creating a ripple effect to these communities, immigrant communities in particular, to like don't have access to the programs that are entitled to. And what we are doing is like we are working with the Mayor Office of Immigrants Advancement to make sure that we have the right information out, that when they call us or come to us, we can say exactly that yes, you can do it. You're still entitled to do that. And that's something that we have been working very hard, not just at the new city level. There are many other organizations that are doing that job too.
Well, finally, we should mention that if people have any questions or if they want some referrals, is there some way you can help them with that?
Yes, they can call to our office. Our phone number is 617-635-3717, or go to our webpage, foodaccess@boston.gov.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Catalina Lopez-Ospina from the Mayor's Office of Food Access. We'll have more news in just a moment.